Hi guys, I just wanted to share another junk journal I've made. Actually, before I get started, I wanted to say thank you so much to everyone for your support. I had my 100 subscriber giveaway last week on Friday, and if you haven't already seen the draw, it's the previous video, I think. You'll see that Wendy Mason won my giveaway, which was a little golden book junk journal. But at the time I drew that, I was, I think, a little over 100. And the past week has been so wonderful. Everyone has been so supportive, and the comments have been so nice. And I actually just hit about an hour ago 200 subscribers. So I can't believe it, because I never thought I'd get like 10 subscribers, let alone 100. And in the past week, since I announced the giveaway, 200. So yeah, it's been really wonderful. I just wanted to thank everyone for their support. And okay, I'm going on again. Anyway, I'll just get on with it. So this junk journal, as you know, all of my books are completely made from recycled and repurposed materials, apart from things like book corners or glue. And my journals, well, my style, I suppose, is very grungy. I like heavy coffee dyed and distressed papers, and so they always turn out really dark and grungy. So I thought I'll try and make something a little more feminine, I suppose. But the theme of this was going to be flowers and butterflies. But as it turned out to be grungy flowers and butterflies. I suppose I just can't help the grungy, junky style that I have. And that's how my journals have always been. And I don't suppose that'll change anytime soon, but we'll see. Anyway, so this one, I don't usually use pinks, but this is some vintage fabric from my grandmother. It's black with pink flowers. And I've got on the cover just a little vintage doily. This little doily was actually cut from a huge tablecloth with all little circles. So I cut them out into individual little doilies. The same with this pink one. This was a not a tablecloth, but a small table runner. And in the middle, this is just a pink butterfly. He's all sparkly around the edges. And it's metal. It's a metal butterfly. And I took this off a brooch. So I've taken the back off just so that it lays flat. So it is dimensional, but not too bad. The size of this as well, it will fit into a standard size traveler's notebook as well. So you can put it into the notebook cover. The closure, I've just done a simple elastic, which I've just inked a little pink. And that's because if you do want to put it into a traveler's notebook cover, you can just take this off so it fits in. On the end, I've put some little pink speckled beads. They're black with pink speckles. You probably can't see on the camera. And that's just elastic, so that comes off. So around the edges here, you'll see fabric peeping out from underneath, which I've roughed up so that it's all frayed around the edges. And I've inked it with some pink ink, and the back is plain. So I tried not to make this guy too chunky, because I know I really love chunky journals, but I don't really do journaling. I'm kind of a note taker. Because I forget a lot of things. So I am a note taker, but I'm not a journaler as such. So I like the look of chunky journals, but I know a lot of people, you know, to use it, you don't want it too chunky, because you want to put photos and other bits of memory items in there. So this guy I've kept quite thin to my usual. I think it's about 80 pages. But this will be in my Etsy store, so I'll put all the dimensions and the number of pages and everything in the Etsy listing description. Okay, so in the front I've just got some vintage fabric on the back, stitched around the edges. Just a little pocket here, and just a copy of an old envelope with some coffee dyed paper on the back. And this is just a little journal card or tag that I made out of just a picture of a vintage flower book. Isn't that gorgeous though? So this is not distressed, that was actually the colour of the picture. I've just distressed the edges, but really pretty. I really love the old flower ones. I think that was a book from the 60s, and the images are really cute. So I've just put some trim down the edge of this front page, because this was a vintage page as well, and it was a little bit brittle. So I've put some fabric lace down the back and some washi tape on the front. But isn't that image beautiful? That's just out of a regular book. So pretty. Looks like it's painted. Just a journal card there. Some coffee dyed paper, lace. That's got a little image of a doily there, because when I was coffee dyeing the paper, I usually put mine out in the sun to dry unless it's rainy or windy, then I'll do it in the oven. And I've just put a paper doily on top. And when it's dried, it's just left the image there. Oh, might be able to see on camera. Some coffee dyed music paper. Actually, this one was one I did in the oven, and it's really crunchy, so I had to put a little paper band-aid here. I've just stitched some paper and then glued it on, just because there was a little crack mark there. Coffee dyed papers. It's just a little journal card I've made, stitched around the edge with coffee dyed paper. That's from that same flower book as the front picture. So pretty. It's just a little glassine bag. It's actually a little candy bag, which I've put some book paper on, and stamped an image of a butterfly with some pink ink around it, bit of fabric. And in there, I've just put some of the images out of some old gardening or plant books. They're just plain on the back so that you could use them to decorate or make embellishments or tags or whatever with them. This is a piece of pink scrapbook paper, actually, which you'll never see me. I very, very rarely use it because I don't buy scrapbook paper unless I come across a book at an op shop. And I did come across a book of 4 at an op shop. They were all exactly the same, but they were like really ugly images and patterns and that. But this one was pink with some flowers. You'll see the other side further in the book. This page wasn't too bad, but some of the patterns are really ugly in there. So that's just some little pink tickets. They're numbered down there. It was out of some sort of little notepad. Monday to Thursday. Friday and the rest of the week is further on in the book. That's just some fabric. Little fabric. fabric flower. Sorry, the sun is actually just going down. It's just after 5 here in Sydney. It's getting a bit dark. Just a flip out. Just a book from a page from a vintage children's book, a fairy tale one. It might have been Snow White, I think. Made just a little pocket there. That's a tea bag. And I've put the tea bag onto some a thick piece of paper so that I could make a little pocket. I didn't want the tea bag to rip. That's just a little paper tag. And on top of that tea bag, sorry, I don't have much room. That's an actual stamp. It's not a copy. It's a real stamp. The blue butterfly. I know a girl who would love that. She loves blue butterflies. Her name's, I don't know how to say it. I have mentioned it, I think, before. It's spelt Juni, but I think it's pronounced Uni or Uni. I'm not sure. But she loves blue butterflies, and when I stuck that down, I just thought of her straight away. Actually, I'll put a link to her channel down below. She makes gorgeous little faith journals, and she's been making a few vintage style journals lately, and really, really cute. I think she's new on YouTube and that, you know, like me, and she makes the cutest little journals, and she's so adorable. But if you haven't already subscribed to her, I'll put the link to her channel down below. Go over and check her out. Give her some support. She's Australian as well, but she's really cute, and she should have way more subscribers than she has. This here, what was this off? I can't remember. It's just a bit of scrap lace, but it was a vintage. Oh, actually, it was a little bit of off a vintage wedding dress, like a teeny tiny little scrap out of my crap box. That's blue vintage lace. It's an image out of a children's book. It was actually called Where Do Butterflies Go When It Rains. Really cute. See the little bunny rabbit there? Here I've just covered up with some little scraps of coffee dyed papers, just to give you more journaling room. Paper doily. Little booklet I've made. These are the pages, you know, the blank pages at the end of a book. There's always a page or two. So I've just ripped those up, sewed a bit of fabric down the edge. This, I think, was out of an embroidery booklet. It's just a coffee dyed map out of the back of an old diary, like an office diary. Ledger paper. Those are some little teeny tiny scraps of fabric that I've just stitched on there just to make like a little, I don't know what you call it, like a little fan or something. I'm always trying to get rid of little scraps of fabric. It's just a little booklet with a old flower image. I'll just put some scraps of little paper in there. Thought it was cute. Actually, this cover was made from, if you're in Australia, you might recognise these envelopes from Origin Energy. They're brown and they're really thick. The paper is awesome, like it's really thick paper, and I love this paper. My husband brings home the empty envelopes from work. The receptionist always saves them for me, and these are my favourite. They're so good, these envelopes. This here Oh, actually, this is one of the envelopes. One of these same envelopes with the little window. I've just cut it down to size. And in the center there, that's actually a real flower. So you may have seen a few videos ago, actually it was a while ago now, I showed how I dry out my flowers. Very technical way. I'll put the link to that video in the description box below. But that's one of the flowers. And I've just put a couple of little dots of glue behind him and glued him down, and then just glued around the envelope. So that's actually the middle of the signature. So the stitching from the spine, the other side is actually in the middle of this envelope, glued in down here. So you can't see it because I've glued around the edges to hide the stitching in the middle, so that little page can flip over. What I was going to do was put a little window on both sides so that you could see the flower from both sides, but then I forgot all about it. I just stuck it down and then it was too late. So I might do that in the next video. So, you know, get 2 of these sides and line them up so that you can see the flower from both sides. Because these envelopes are really good. They're really thick. Actually, I was going to ink around the edge and I forgot. I might still do that. See, that's why my journals are grungy. I like ink up everything. That was just a bit of the book page, and I've put a scrap of ledger paper in there just to use up the little scraps to just make like a little, I don't know, card or something you can write on. There's some scraps of fabric along the edge there. Some lace. Oops. That's a fold out. That's part of an applique off a wedding dress that I've been chopping up. That one, the rest of the applique was quite big, but it was ruined in part of it, so I just cut around the flower and got rid of the other half. And actually in the center is a cute little pearly bead. I don't know if you can see him. Oops. Oh, did I miss a page there? No. That's another image out of that same book. Aren't they gorgeous? I love the old images. Like, it actually looks really old. Like, I haven't coloured that or anything. That's just the colour of the picture. And in the middle, I've just ripped up some scraps of bookends and stitched it down the centre to make a little booklet. And that's a scrap fabric ruffle. What's the scrap of fabric? Actually, this bit of fabric was a beautiful piece of fabric that I ruined. I should do a video on project fails. So this was going to be the cover of a journal because the fabric, oh, it's actually darker than it looks. It's a blue-grey colour, and it's got the most beautiful little pictures on it. And around the edge of all the flowers and leaves is silver glitter, like a silver glitter thread, and really beautiful fabric. And I always use like I don't know, I use this craft glue. It's acetone based because it sticks fabric down really flat and really good. But for some reason this time, I don't know, it showed through. I know the fabric's thin, but I have used it on a lot of thin fabrics before. But yeah, so I've ripped it off the book cover and I'll have to put that to use somehow. I don't want to waste it. It's like really gorgeous fabric. So I've chopped a little piece of that off and put it there. That's that scrapbook paper I was talking about. See how the images are like, they don't look real. They look really fake. This is probably the prettiest out of that whole paper pad. And that's the other side of those tickets in there. It's just a little butterfly card. This was off a brochure or something, I can't remember, but it's glossy like a magazine. But look at the butterfly, isn't he beautiful? I really, really love that picture. You can see his little face, look at that. So, so gorgeous. I love butterflies. And I've just backed it onto some coffee dye paper. That's what I do if ever there's a little rip in the paper. I just get like a little scrap of paper. I stitch straight onto the paper, zigzag, and then I just glue it onto the paper. And that way it looks more intentional, but you're fixing up a little rip in the paper. So this was that music paper that I left in the oven too long, and it's really brittle around the edges. So where it ripped, I just put a little paper band-aid on there. And I actually like the look of it when it's stitched and glued on there. And on the other side, I've just decoupaged a little butterfly napkin on there. Just a little piece of paper. And that's the back page. Look at that pretty picture. And just a pocket in the back with a little floral piece of paper. And then in there, that was just a scrap of the ledger paper that was coffee dyed, so I've just made a little tag out of him. And a little envelope with coffee dyed paper on the back. And that's it. Okay, so that was my attempt at girly. Did I succeed? Maybe not. It's still grungy girly. Anyway, I think it turned out really, really cute. And this little guy, he'll be in my Etsy shop sometime tonight if you're interested. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye.